Hello beautiful people, welcome back to my channel Eliadefab. How are you all doing today? Leave a comment below, tell me how you're doing. I would love to hear from you. How has your week been? How is your week going? If you're watching this on a weekend, how's your weekend going? Let me know how you're doing in the comment section. So today's video is going to be an extension of my first video, one of my vulnerable moments video, where I talked about my painful IVF journey. And I was quite emotional in that video, guys. I literally I tried to hold myself. It was just bubbling up that day, because that day was a 1 year reminder of the journey starting. And obviously, fast forwarding that, it being unsuccessful literally got me into a whole bowl of emotions. And I just felt strongly that I should record that moment. Like I said, some of you who have been following me on my journey would understand or would know that I've been on this journey in relationship and also wanting to have a child, and I'm still going through it, guys. So here is part 2 of the IVF journey. Welcome back, guys. So I'm going to go straight into it. What I'm talking about today would be the process of IVF journey here in the UK. Every country has their own different ways of going through the IVF process. I know in America it's a little bit longer than what we do here in the UK. So I know it's more expensive in America, definitely, and it's a longer process. Here in the UK, if you are under 35, you get an option to get it for free. So what do I mean by that is, here in the UK, we've got what we call the National Health Service, and the NHS is kind enough to allow any woman of childbearing age to 35 to be able to get the one chance to do it for free. And I was lucky enough to get that done, I would say now, the year before. It wasn't like I was prepared for it. I knew I always wanted to have a child. I knew I really obviously tried in my own human way. But it wasn't going the way I wanted it. And I must have been having a conversation with my doctor on that day, and I can't remember what we were talking about, and straight away went, right, I'm putting you for IVF. I was like, but I'm not ready, I've not prepared myself, my mind, none of those things. And he was like, you've got to do it now is your last chance. And I think because I was clocking 35 on that particular month and that particular year, the push was so fast. It was like, right, we're pushing you into it. So I got thrown into it. I was praying about it. I was asking God, I was like, God, why are you throwing me into IVF? I'm not even ready for it. I don't think I want to do IVF. But I was like, okay, be it unto me according to your will. Maybe this is a good thing. It's a good thing. So I started to psych myself up with the partner that I was with at the time, that, okay, it's a good thing. It's a good thing to go and do this IVF. And so we psyched ourselves up. We were like, right, let's do it. And then the next shocker came, and this is the next step. So when you get sort of told that you're going to do IVF by your GP, because your GP also has to be the one to authorize you going for IVF. So your doctor has to authorize it. Don't forget, the first thing is you've got to be 35 and under. And then your doctor has to authorize you doing IVF. And that is one of the conditions is that you have to have tried to have you've had to have tried to have a baby for 3 years and over. So if you're someone that's tried to have a baby for over 3 years, will be another criteria for you. Another criteria is, of course, if they've done maybe hormone tests and they realize that probably maybe your ovaries are not producing enough eggs, or if there is a fertilization between your other partner as well. So if the partner's sperm's not really, producing what it needs, or if there is another underlying condition or another underlying situation that could be the reason, the doctors would also put you through towards the fertility clinic to do that. So we both got checked. We were okay. We didn't have any issues. We had the blood test done. We had other checks done. And the other thing that I would advise on this video as well is, if you are someone who your blood group is AS, or if you're a sickle cell carrier or thalassaemic carrier, or a what would I say? Or I'm trying to think of the other one. Yeah, sickle cell carrier and thalassaemic carrier. They always advise you not to be with someone who is a carrier. So not to be with another AS, or so not to be with obviously a SS. So they'll test you on those, and if you both are, then that's another thing to worry about. But obviously I had always been very conscious about that, because I'm a carrier, I'm a thalassaemic carrier, and I'm also a sickle cell carrier. So I knew that my partner had to be AA. So that's the other thing. So you need to make sure that your partner doesn't have any sort of blood disorder or genetic disorder that could possibly be carried on to the child. We passed the test on that one because my partner at the time, he was AA, which was good. And like I said, I've always been conscious about that. Anytime I'm with a new partner, I do all the blood checks just to tick it off and reduce the chances of bringing in, a soul and a life that has to come and struggle. I don't believe in it. I don't believe it's fair. I don't believe in it, but everybody has their own opinions and their own desires and how you want to run your life. So I'm not telling you what to do. So that's the first two. Okay, so after we did all the blood works and our blood works came out right, and that was positive, hooray, that was good. We had a pass to go and start the fertility journey. And I have got some footage that will possibly be put here or here or here or here, one of the four corners. There will be a footage of my journey. So I intentionally recorded it because I was hopeful that it would be positive and it would be good, since I've been trying for quite a long time. And so I recorded every single step of the way, and some of them will be inputted into this video as I carry on. Hello, it's me. I have chosen, actually, thanks to my sister, who it just really dawned on me. So I do have, what should I say, an amazing, very emotional, what should I say, story to share. I started the process, and that process, like I said, because I was rushed and thrown into IVF, the process was massively rushed. Normally you'd have a consultant who would sit down with you, tell you everything, then you go on an onboarding, I think you go on an onboarding video that tells you everything that you need to know. But unfortunately, or should I say fortunately for me, the video was obviously with me and my partner at the time, and we got thrown into doing that video under 48 hours. And it was a video that had, how many videos? It was sub videos, so it was like 8 videos that were like maybe 1 hour each or something. It was really long. And the night before we had to do this video, hand it in, and then fly out to Dubai. Okay, so you see that in the footage as well. Had to fly out to Dubai because it was my birthday and I was having like a birthday celebration. So yeah, and so we had to do that in such a hurry. it was very stressful, guys. The paperwork and that video is stressful. So if you're doing it in the UK, you have to bear in mind that the paperwork can be stressful and it is a long onboarding process. So that's the third tip I'm giving you there. And then we got the injections. So I had to rush before going to the airport to get my injections and to get the drugs. And so I got the injections and the drugs the day before. I had to inject myself. On the first 2 weeks, you inject in the subcutaneous area. So that's a part of the, so that somewhere here or here, but you still have to, that area literally. So I had to inject every day for 2 weeks in that area to deregulate my hormones. And what do I mean by deregulate them? It's just to it's like you're down regulating them, so they literally go to baseline, flatline. And that happened for the first 2 weeks. So whilst I was in Dubai, I was injecting myself and I could see myself getting bigger. I could see my stomach really getting big. Like, the side effects to those injections are that you will get bloated, you get uncomfortable, you know, your mood's gonna change. And boy, oh boy, did my mood change, guys. That thing messed my mood up. I'm normally cheerful, but when I sting, it is not very nice. I have been injecting myself with a drug called Briserelin. Briserelin actually helps. I will show you actually. What it does is it deregulates or down regulates the hormones to prepare my womb for, basically just to prepare so it's nice and thin and ready for phase 2. So phase 1 is you do all the paperwork, all this consensual work to make sure that you are right and you are, make sure you're right and stuff for IVF. And I've been injecting myself with this. So this is what I've been injecting myself with. And then this is 25 mils of this is what I inject into either my stomach or my thigh. Okay, so it really messed with my mood. It made me bloated. It made me a bit bigger. And the pain in the morning when you're injecting was so painful. God, these needles, these tiny needles are so painful. So I did that. Oh yeah, the other thing is I had a lot of constipation. Like, I really struggled. It literally was a blockage. And I don't want to be graphic. It was a blockage. No joke. No joke. It was a blockage. So I had fun, came back from Dubai, carried on injecting. And at this time, like I said in my first video, in the first vulnerable moment video of the IVF, I did say I was doing my prescribing course for pharmacy, prescribing pharmacist course. So that was quite a challenge because I would have to inject and go straight to uni and do that. And this is me after how many years going back to uni just for me to become a prescribing pharmacist. So that was a challenge. And then after the 2 weeks, then we went on to the clinic. And at the clinic, they would do, I think they would do a blood test and they would do a scan to see that the medication worked and your hormones are deregulated. So I did that, went there, got that done, and then I was given another injection. So now the injections became 2. So I would do the one that I was already doing anyways, and then I added another one which I was getting on my thigh. So I'll do on my stomach and then I'll do on my thigh. Oh boy, I felt sorry for myself. I felt so sorry for myself. I was like, God, why are you making me do this? But you know what? I have no answer for it. This might be a baby. So I'm so excited and I'm crying at the same time because it's painful. Anybody who doesn't like injections, comment below. Comment below. So I had to do the one on my stomach and one on my thigh before I go out, before I go to work, because I was also working as well as studying. So before I go to work or before I go to uni, I would inject, and I had to do that for another 2 weeks. Okay, so now we're looking at, it's now becoming, over a month. So I do that, and that's to now help my stomach. So the second injection was to help, is the folliculating period, I believe. I'll put that properly in the comments as well, and the video will be there as well to show. So that was to help my ovaries start producing eggs like popcorns. That's the layman term. So phase 2 is me having 2 injections. So this one, okay, and I still carry on with this one. And so basically, obviously, both of them are supposed to work hand in hand to kind of help me prepare my follicles in my ovaries so that they get ready to be collected. So they get enlarged, they get ready and stuff like that. So what happens is that injection will stimulate your ovaries to produce more than one ovarian follicle. Okay, so the follicles, so normally you would have one follicle that will pop up every month, and then obviously if you don't get pregnant, you'd have a cycle. But now imagine the injection you're taking allowing you to pop all of them up. So you could have like 14, you could have like 13, you could just have them. They're like, that's why I said they pop up like popcorns, because those follicles will rise to the surface, and each of them should have little eggs in your ovaries. Yes, breastfeeding is painful, I'll let you know that, and you can get hormonal imbalances, basically breakthrough bleed. You could bleed. So I had a bleed. Well, I bled for a bit, but it's fine. Makes me thirsty, very thirsty. My mouth is very, 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 very thirsty, very dry, very thirsty. The pain when injecting, yes, there is pain when injecting. It can make you you can get low in mood, so you might be happy 1 minute and next minute you are down, you're crying. I've cried, so that's true, hormonal for sure. And this time during that injection period, I think it was every 3 days, I would go in to see the progress, to see if they're growing, the follicles are building, they're growing. So the first time I went was when I received the first shock.